Alright, welcome ladies and gentlemen. This will be the video guide for my crit poison blaster in Path of Exile. Currently level 88, completed many adversaries. Currently running tier 10 maps, something like that, trying to sustain, trying to dive into the tier 11 maps. But yeah, not having that much luck. So the concept of this character is to use Kinetic Blast, scaling pure physical and chaos damage. We achieve that through Ming's Heart and its Ares Promise, and scaling our base physical damage of our wand with our passives and gear. We are crit, and the main links are increased critical strikes to be able to cap our crit, physical projectile attack damage to multiply physical damage, greater multiple projectiles, that's just the best way to improve your AoE. Power charge and critical to sustain power charges, since we are not running Assassin's Mark or other ways to generate them. And pierce to achieve 100% pierce chance with the passive piercing shots. The way Kinetic Blast works is that every time it pierces through an enemy, it explodes, kind of releasing a series of little explosions, and each of those explosions will cause the enemy to take a poison stack. The way we apply this poison is through our Ascendancy Master Herbalist, which says always poison on hit while using a flask, since we have a flask build and since we are crit and we got a lot of flask passives like Arcane Chemistry, Druidic Rite and Primal Spirit, we will have 100% flask uptime. So yeah, the core items of the build are these flask, Ares Promise and Ming's Heart. Both are very cheap, you can get both for like a chaos, and also notice that you need a perfect fertile mind, plus 24 intelligence. In this spot in the passive tree, it grants you just enough intelligence to reach 188, which is just enough to wear your imbued wand. If you not have a perfect one, you then need some intelligence on either your amulet or your ring. That makes gearing a little bit more complicated, but it's not too difficult. Now for the character stats, offensive wise we are looking at 9.8k in hideout. That's without charges. Without charges I'm currently at roughly 21,000. Still missing a jewel slot, but don't be fooled by this rather low tooltip DPS. It is really irrelevant, because roughly 40% of our total damage come through the poison stacks, so the damage in the end is a lot higher. I can kill Drydeck Vole in less than a second. I can kill most map bosses, even tier 10 map bosses, in a second or lower. The damage is really good. Now defensive wise we have a little bit of armor, not too important, because we are running Lightning Coil and Assault Flask. That's up 100% of the time, with 15% flask effect, that's 26% flat reduction, plus 22%, or a little bit more, 23% of the lightning coil. That's roughly 50 to 60% flat physical reduction, which is really good against the large hits. For smaller hits we have a lot of evasion. Since there are no auras that push our damage, we use Grace and Purity of Lightning. Grace on the one hand to boost our evasion rating to roughly 15k. This is going a little bit higher when Grace levels to 20. And Purity of Lightning to not only counter the minus 6% lightning resistance from our lightning coil, but also grant a little bit of overcap lightning resistance. We are also Acrobatics, which grants a 30% chance to dodge, and we have a little bit of block, 18%. A pretty high stun avoidance through Heart of Oak, and quite a lot of movement speed, especially with a Quicksilver Flood that goes up to 130%. Mobility is a very, very important key factor of survivability. Now for the gear, I am using a normal phys-based imbued wand. Imbued wand is the best base because it has the highest attack speed. Shoot for one with at least 10% crit, that's pretty easy since this can be crafted with the master. Then choose for as most physical damage as possible. Accuracy rating like on mine is pretty neat, because accuracy rating in the end is very important in crit builds, but it's not too important. Buy one with high physical damage, around 180 to 200 physical damage, shouldn't be too expensive. For the chest, I'm currently using Lightning Coil. I think it's best in slot because of the defensive part it provides. We can also use a Belly of the Beast, which is a very good option since Mingsard reduces our maximum life by 15%. Belly of the Beast has up to 40% life, so that's pretty good. Another option is of course Lightning Coil if you're just starting off and you just want a cheap 6-link. For the helm we're using Rat's Nest. At the moment trying to get a useful enchantment on there. Probably gonna take a few lab runs, but those aren't too difficult. Rat's Nest, the best option if you can afford one. Get a Staconia set. Really good helmet, 100 life, 25 crit, 10% attack speed, decent evasion, and you can get that for like a chaos or two. Pretty good helmet. For shield, we're shooting for evasion shield, as high life, resists, and evasion as possible. If you're on a budget, reduce the evasion. Evasion shields with like 300 to 400 evasion. With those kind of defensive stats in terms of life and resist, pretty cheap. What makes this shields expensive is the evasion. Now for the boots, pretty much the same. You want movement speed, high life and high resists. The life is what makes boots really expensive, so search for boots with just resist and movement speed and craft life onto them. As you can see, Haku can craft up to 64 life on boots for 4 chaos. Take that into account when you're shopping for boots. For gloves we're using Shadows of Dust at the moment because of the decent critical strike multiplier, higher than Maligaros. I think Maligaros are no longer very useful in any sort of form because Face Breakers just have like 60% more critical strike multiplier, which is the highest DPS option in this case. But Face Breakers have extra goal, which causes a lot of lag in hard and large packs, and the percent mana leech is also very nice on the Shadows of Dust because that allows me to drop the Essence Sap cluster. Since in the Perennis League those gloves are very easy to obtain, choose for that. In the next leagues when Shadows and Dust remain a league only item, it's probably best to do just to go for Face Breakers. For one ring, Ming's Heart, obviously. For the other ring, serve something like that. High life, high resists, and high flat physical damage. That's what's gonna push your damage, because wands don't have very much base damage. That's why physical damage on your rings and amulets is very important. Amulets the same, life, high physical damage, but most importantly high global critical strike multiplier. We don't get much critical strike multiplier on this build. Most of it really comes from your gloves, face breakers or shadows and dust on your amulet, and jewels. So really choose an amulet with critical strike multiplier, that's gonna multiply your damage. For the belt, Doriani's Invitation, physical based, is a good option and cheap. If you're cheating for an endgame option, you want something like that. High resists, life, and armor is also a nice stat to get. Not really necessary since you have a high mitigation through the Basalt Frost and Lightning Coil, but it can't hurt. Weapon elemental damage is totally not necessary in this build. Actually, it's a wasted stat since we have no elemental damage at all, aside from the 100 lightning damage from Lightning Coil, which is really unimportant. For gems, for the main link, again we're using Kinetic Blast, increased critical strikes, projectile attack damage, GMP, Peacock, and Pierce. Quality on those gems is very crucial if you're trying to push this build to high damage levels. These gems with quality probably gave me like 2k DPS. It's really important. In my wand I'm using Frostball, Curse on hit, and Vulnerability. Yes, Frostball can curse on hit since it's a hit. I'm thinking about reducing Frostball to level 1 though, because the 56 units is a little bit long and I actually died in a malformation because my own Frostball blocked me. That was a little bit stupid. But yeah, Frostball. Here I have my aura setup, Grace, Purity of Lightning, and Enlighten. Enlighten not really necessary. makes sustaining mana a little bit easier. In my helmet I got my Ice Golem, Wall Haste, increased duration and faster casting. In my gloves I have my Spell Totem, my Wither Totem, Wither, faster casting, increased duration and Spell Totem. Getting those colors on the gloves is not very easy. If you don't want to spend like 100 chromes on it, just pull out increased duration or faster casting, it doesn't really matter. And then my cast my damage check in Water Call, increased duration setup with Blood Rage. That's for the gems. My passive tree currently looks like this. I'll post a guide in the description. For gear for passive tree progression, you wanna pick up these nodes in the beginning, rush this jewel sucker to fit in your fertile mind, and then rush for the piercing shots. Once you have piercing shots, a twizzle, and enough intelligence, you can go kinetic blast and proceed to use it till end game. Till then, I simply leveled with Life's Brick and Ethereal Knives. Was pretty enjoyable. For the Ascendancy, we are using Master Herbalist, of course, to be able to poison. This also gains a lot of chaos resistance together with Ming's Heart and its Series Promise with the Flask effectiveness of 15%. That puts us to 124 chaos resistance, with this nearly capped and merciless, which is really helpful. Then take Nature's Adrenaline and Cruel, and last Master Surgeon and Merciless. So that really wraps up the guide. If you want to check out gameplay, just look in my video section. I got some videos posted there. Yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to ask in the forums or PM me in-game or just under this video. I'll do my best to answer them. Thanks for watching.